Here is a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish beach wear. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. So to start, I'm going to mark out my basic measurements, which I've done: my shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline, 7 inches to get your hip point, and my gown length. So this dress is actually a short dress. Now I'll start by marking my shoulder divided by 2, and I'll come down by 1 inch. From this point, I'll go ahead to connect it all the way up. After connecting it at that point, I'm going to go ahead to find my chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Make a mark what you have, and I'm just going to place my ruler and draw out a straight line. Now go ahead to mark back my shoulder divided by 2, and I'm going to place my ruler and I will connect this all the way up. After connecting, I'm going to place my tape and divide what I have there into 2, come out by ½ inch. Here I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll connect this all the way up and also connect at the lower part of this pattern. Now the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my measurement. This pattern is like a dartless pattern. Mark your bust circumference divided by 4, add ½ inch. Mark your under bust circumference divided by 4, mark ½ inch for joining. Mark your waist circumference divided by 4, add ½ inch for joining. Now I'll just go ahead to mark my hip circumference divided by 4 here to serve as a guide. But this dress is actually cut in form of a flare, right? Or an A-line, like something coming from the waist and then all the way towards the lower part of this pattern. Now mark your hip circumference divided by 4 at this lower part of your gown, and after marking that, I'll add extra 6 inches, then add your sewing allowance of ½ inch. Right now I'll go ahead to connect. Now if you're not okay with the length at the lower part, that is the extra 6 inches we added, you can just go ahead to adjust to what will suit you. Now I'll go ahead to connect this all the way to this point. The next step I'll take is to go ahead to just mark out a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches. I'm not actually using this, I'm just using it to serve as a guide for this pattern, right? Now after marking this out, let's go ahead to mark where you want your dress to start. So I'm marking 2 inches above my chest line, and I'll draw a straight line there, right? I draw out a fence line. So from there I'll connect from the armhole coming all the way to the front part, and I'll extend this. Now before extending this, the front part, we have like a circle, like a design iron there, so you want to come in by at least 0.5 to 0.7, and I'll draw out a straight line and connect this. This is because I don't want to have much gaping or opening at the center of my dress, so that's why I'm using ½ inch or 0.75. So I'm just going to place my tape and I will extend this all the way down. While coming down, I'll just go ahead and leave about ½ inch there before going ahead to connect it. So this part will be the part that you adjust into that iron. So come down by 2 inches or 1.5 after your under bust and go ahead to connect. So what I'll do here is I'll come down by ½ inch from my bust line. So this is the area where I'll be putting this circle or iron through, right? So by the time you place it through this circle, it will form like a circle around it, right? Now I'll come down by ½ inch here. If you notice, it is slightly below the waistline, and I'll connect this all the way to that point. So after I'm done connecting, we are almost done with this pattern, and the next step I'll take is just to go ahead to come up by ½ inch or 1 inch to give it a little curve at that side, so that it will not end up being too pointy when you join the dress, just like we have. So now I'll just draw this line to indicate we have a strap at this part of the dress, right, that will be going into that round circle. So what I'll do right now is to go ahead to cut this out first. After cutting it out, I'll go ahead to use my marker to outline my pattern, and then I'll be doing a little paper illustration on how to achieve this, and I'll cut this out, right? So after cutting it out, this is what I have. Now I'll make like a little circle with a paper to act as if this is the iron at the center of this dress. Now for this front pattern, when you're cutting your pattern, you'll be adding you'll be adding 1 inch or 1.5 in front. This will be passing through this circle or iron that we have at the front part of this dress. I'll just go ahead to cut this out. So I'm just acting as if I've used my pattern to draft out, and this is my fabric. What you now do is to pass this through it this way. That is the 1.5 inches extra you will add. Then fold it in this way and go ahead to stitch on this part. I went ahead to use my pin to hold, and at this part also add extra 1.5 inches to it, right? And remember, you'll be adding like a ½ inch or turn up allowance for all this your pattern. Now I'll just go ahead to pin this and cut this on top. I'm acting as if this is the extra 1.5. When you place your pattern, you add extra 1.5 at this part. Use it to like join it to the circle or the iron at the midpoint. So this is what I have at this point, and then you can now go ahead to add your strap also to this dress. I'll also use my pin to hold it. So we are done with the front illustration. Let's go over to the back. For the back, I'm going to go ahead to draft out the upper part first. Here is my shoulder to bust, my shoulder to under bust, and remember we added extra 2 inches after that at the front pattern. After the under bust, we came down by 2 inches, right, to connect. I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 and I'll come down by 1 inch, and I'll mark my shoulder slant. I'll go ahead to mark my chest line again, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I'll draw a straight line. Now I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 again, and I'll connect this down. So there's no need drawing an armhole curve for the back. So I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, add ½ inch here. Add my under bust circumference divided by 4 and take that down to the 2 inches. And I'll go ahead to connect. So whatever you have here, just know that you won't be cutting the exact amount. You can add like extra 5 to 10 inches in front of it, and then you're going to cut it on fold, because if you look at this dress at the back, it has an elastic at the upper part. That way it will enable you wear it. So I'll just go ahead and unpin what I have, and I will cut this out. So this is for the back pattern. You don't have to do much. I'll just go ahead and cut this out. Now for this part, add extra inches in front for elastic, and also for the lower part of this dress, you can do the same thing. Add extra inches at the front part of this dress when you're cutting it. That is, also add extra 5 to 10 or 15 inches in front of your pattern when you want to cut out the skirt pattern, and also for the upper part of the back.